Hi everyone, welcome back to Lovey's Diaries, and I am reviewing the book. I know it's been in the market for a while, and this is Amish's third book of the series that he's writing. I have read the first two books and hopefully review them soon. I found this book to be especially very interesting. The cover is pretty much very giving of actually what happens in this. This is who Ravan is. I found the cover to be very intriguing. It speaks a lot about what the book is if you look closely enough. I'm trying not to be a very biased review because I am a fan of his book. So, the summary of this book is pretty much the plot is you see this is the backdrop story of Ravan, and the writer has followed a multilinear timeline. So, a lot of these events are intertwined. There are a few things you need to keep in mind. The chronology of the events that happen in the book are very essential part of the plot. Now, as a reader, I see Amish trying to open my mind to something completely different. See, when you're a child, you've been told these things. You've heard these things. So there is some social conditioning that does happen. But in this book, he tries to humanize Ravan into a person who has so many feelings, and it as a reader, it opens your mind to something else. As I read and go through the book, I watch him grow. I feel like there's this movie happening in front of me, and I'm watching this child or a person grow into who he is. From this rebellious, intelligent prodigy child who has a very tumultuous relationship with his father and a very tense relation with his mother. He takes on that hatred in him and he needs an outlet. He wants to be bad just because it gets him attention, and yet sometimes there's this event that happens which touches his heart in the very true sense. There are moments in the book where, as a character, he makes you winch and you feel this pure evil seeping out, and you feel this hatred sometimes towards this character. You feel like, yeah, it's totally justified. But then you have to understand that a person is definitely a person of their circumstances or their consequences. Is he really that person, or was he looking for something else? He had that spark and it needed to be channeled, and a lot of people got into that mix, and that channel it made into that. It made him who he is. He became an adult at the time where other children were playing because he wanted to protect that small unit that he has. And that is extremely brave to me, and I know that he forgot completely about this whole moral compass, completely threw that concept out of his head. And he just like means to an end. I need to get this done. I need to save my family. I need money, and that's it. And which is not, he's not wrong in some ways, because when you're surrounded by hostility, you have to find a way to beat that hostility. Offense is the best defense. I feel that as a reader, you feel conflicted at times because you want to hate him. He shows you these pure streaks of genius, and you realize that, wow, how multi talented was this man. With age, he tries to numb out certain things in his mind because, as most people, he is grieving so many things. and that grievance is spilling out. He has bonds which is unrefutable. There are moments where it touches your heart, it touches your soul, and you believe that for someone who wants to do so much, wants to feel so much, I am not I am not trying to defend him. As I see him grow and I see his ups and downs, I realize he is just not what we show. That whole 10 heads, I think it's more of a metaphor because each head represents the knowledge that man had. He was a brilliant strategist. Ruthless, yes, because if you're a warlord, you have to be ruthless. He is a true genius in many sense of the word. But like many geniuses, he does lack some emotional empathy, which I feel he has only towards certain people, not with everyone. I think overall, I think it's correct that Amish has decided to write a book for every character because each of their complexity of each of their books is important to the end result, if I may add. Let's start with the pros and cons. Pro, the author gives you a fresh perspective, forces your mind to reimagine and think about it. It gives you food for thought that was Ravan really the villain or what made him that? Pro, multilinear line of writing, which is extremely difficult. So kudos to that. I like the fact that he has shown Indian heritage in temples, and it's not just the temples and the architecture that he's focusing on. He's focusing on clothes, jewelry, trade. How did the trade come up? So, pros on that. The only con. Now you're gonna say I'm being biased. But the only con I could come up is that the time gap between the books being released is really long. So that's the only con. But overall, a must read, must read. I am, and if you guys really like it, I'm gonna probably review my favorite trilogy, which is the Shiva trilogy. I know a lot of you have read it, and it is so beautiful. And I found this book to be equally beautiful because I think that the twists and turns in the plot are something that keep you engaged and you will want to know more. On a personal note, I think that it doesn't just stir your mind, it stirs your soul. You feel that inner conflict of a person who wants to be good and wants to prove himself. And I connect on many levels on that. They say you shouldn't connect too much to a book. These are just characters. But to me, I think any character imagined has the basis of much harsher realities. So, until I review the next book, see you soon. Bye bye.